we're going to start with kind of just a quick overview of Canva, talk about designing, tips and tricks, and then additional resources. So before we get started today, actually, I'm going to pause really quickly. I want to share something because I will forget to say it, and it's in my brain right now. So I don't know, many of you may not know, but Canva launches new features twice a year. We launch once in the spring, usually around April or May, and that's called Canva Create. It's our big event. Those usually end up rolling out around June. So a lot of stuff kind of updated in Canva in June. So that is still new. But then we also launch things in October. So it's called Droptober. It's our dropping new features. That event is happening tomorrow. So our keynote is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I don't know what that 10, 11, 12, 1 p.m. Your time, and it's happening in Australia. So a lot of these new features over the last week or so have been slowly rolling out. They continue to roll out throughout the day and evening and into tomorrow. So I say that because if at any point in time today, your screen looks different than my screen, that's okay. It's probably going to look a little different. And honestly, after tomorrow, some stuff may look different that I don't even know about. So I will tell you, my account actually is probably the least updated. So you probably have more new features than I do right now, and I work for Canva. So just know that at any point, again, if it's confusing, you don't see something, it looks different. That's probably why, is that we're launching a bunch of new stuff tomorrow. So let's just talk really quickly about what Canva is. I know most of us are probably familiar, but if you're not, Canva is an all-in-one visual communications platform. So anything you want to create or communicate visually, you can do that in Canva. Canva is a full visual work suite. So we have everything from spreadsheets to documents, whiteboards, video, print products, you name it. So again, really focusing in on that video today. Canva empowers everyone to create, collaborate, and communicate in the classroom and beyond. So really turning teachers and students into creators in an easy-to-use space. But what makes Canva different is that we really believe the skills that students learn go beyond that K-12 space. So we really believe that that students are creating in the classroom. We know they're creating outside the classroom. The classroom, and that's setting them up for success as they move beyond our school systems. It also fosters those 21st century learning skills like creativity, communication, collaboration, teamwork, all of those wonderful things. Just a couple quick things as we think about video, just some quick statistics that we like to share. Visuals are processed 60,000 times faster than text. And 90% of that information that is processed by the brain is visual. So we know that creating visuals in Canva is going to be processed faster, and that includes video and animation, as we're going to talk about today. 80% of people retain what they see and 20% of people retain what they read. So that visual part is really important. We're going to do a quick overview of Canva's video editor. So I have just a quick video. We'll talk about a couple of the tools, and then we're going to dive into Canva. So again, if you just joined, I can see a number of people have just joined us in the chat. So make sure you're able to log into Canva, and then we'll dive in just a minute. But here's a quick overview of Canva's video editor.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. I got it. Pop that bottle, it's over. It's the end of October. Champagne on the shoulder. This is my exposure. Pop that bottle, it's over. It's the end of October. Champagne on the shoulder. This is my exposure. Pop that all night long, but the feeling keeps kicking in. Beef with all the girls,
I know that one's not education specific, but it's way better than the other one we have. So I like showing that one. It kind of gives some ideas around what you can do with the video editor and some of the different tools. So just wanted to show that first. So what makes Canva the ideal tool for video creation? Some of the things that you can do that we'll look at today is the ability to bring in your own audio and video. So you can bring in and import your own pieces that you've recorded on separate devices. You can actually record directly in Canva. We can add animations, transitions, we have background remover, and you can collaborate in real time. We're going to take a look today at our drag and drop editor. Again, that background remover, custom animations, as well as animations that are built in, our recording studio, captioning, and then resizing as well. So one of the things that I love about Canva, and I think especially in your roles as you're thinking about this, is that you can also resize any design to become a video. So that's primarily, we see this used a lot, especially in like podcasting, student podcasting, which I do a lot of sessions for with students. So being able to take that podcast cover, static graphic in Canva, resize that to a video and use some of the more recording features and be able to edit a little bit differently. But you could take a storybook, a storyboard, a presentation template, any of those in Canva and resize them to video. And we'll look at that today as well. So we're going to dive in. This is where I'm going to hop out of slides. I'll make sure to share the slides afterwards as well as reference, but we're going to do a lot of this just in real time. So if you are logged into Canva, you'll want to be on Canva's homepage and it will look something like this. Might look slightly different, but again, making sure you can get logged into Canva so you can follow along. On Canva's homepage, it will look something like this. You'll have some quick buttons here, and then you'll see any designs that you maybe have recently worked on. If you're brand new, you might not see any, and that's okay. A couple quick things. Number one, way down here in this lower left corner, hold on, let me move this. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a little animate button. I'm gonna move that. Way down here in this lower left corner, there is a little bubble. That bubble is super important. When you click on that bubble, you want to make sure it'll show you the email address you're using and the team that you are logged into. You want to make sure you are working in your school team. If you're in a different role where maybe you work across multiple schools or you work at central office, this may look different. You may have something that says staff and admin or something like that, but you always want to be working in the team with the name of your school. It does not mean that what you create is public to the school, but it does allow you to share things more easily. So that's number one. This is also important for students. If you are working with students creating anything, that they're working in the correct school, especially if you work in a school system where it has a transition year. So for example, if students have moved from elementary to middle school or middle school to high school, or they've just moved schools, under this, instead of just like replacing the school, they just get added to their new school. So you just want to make sure they're always working in the correct team. So just some important pieces there, or if you've moved schools as well. So that is key under that little bubble. One other thing that I always point out that's a helpful, even though this is going to get a little update, which will be easier, but there is a projects tab over here on the left. So these are typically your most recent designs, but sometimes they're out of order or you might not see what you're looking for. On the left, you have projects. This little folder is like your drive, like your Google Drive for Canva. So it's like your Canva drive. So this is where everything saves. So if you're newer to Canva, as you're working today, everything you're doing is automatically saving and you can always find it here in projects. So I always like to make sure you know that as well. And then you have a templates tab on the left. So this is one of the things that is changing. So mine does not look like the new version. Yours might. Most people's do. I don't know why mine is like the last one to update, but that's okay. So when you click on templates, this is what mine looks like. This is the old version. The new version will essentially take you back to the home page. And when you click on templates here, you're going to get these like colored tabs right here. Either one is fine. It doesn't make any difference. I just like to point them both out just in case, again, like I said earlier, things are changing today. So you'll see some different options where you can search for templates. Either way, I believe, even if you're in the new version, somewhere in those colored tabs or even on Canva's homepage here, in these quick buttons, there is a button that says video. So normally in some form or fashion, there's a button that says video. When you click on video, you will see some different video templates here. The biggest difference between any of these video templates is just the shape and size of that video. So mobile video is going to be more vertical for like a phone. Landscape is going to be more standard video. We have some square versions, things like that. Really, all of the tools are the same. It's just the shape and orientation of the video. So those are some different options. And then you can kind of scroll and see different templates. You can also search for templates. So I can search from the homepage under templates and I can search for absolutely anything. So if I want, again, it doesn't have to be video either. Maybe I want a podcast cover that I'm going to record over and do some different video tools with. Maybe I want to use a storybook template that we have and turn that into a book trailer. Different things like that, presentations, you name it. So you can search for absolutely anything in here. You can also search for different video template types, whether it's explainer video, you can try book videos. You can try just like fun videos if you want like a theme or a style, if you want fall, Halloween, different things like that. You can try different keywords. We have over 4 million templates. You are bound to find something you are looking for. And again, anything you find can be resized to a video. So if I search for, let's just try planar video. Education is always a great keyword too. Sometimes that can be helpful. You usually get some education ones up front, but here's some different education videos, things like that as well. If you're like, man, this is overwhelming, I don't even know where to start, you can always start in a blank video and just play around today as well. Totally great. That's what I'm going to do. You can do it either way. You can find a template that you want to kind of edit and play in, or you can create a blank video. I'm going to pause and I'm going to give you a few minutes to kind of explore around the template library, see what, if you're thinking about like, what would you create for yourself or have your students create, see if you can find, again, it doesn't have to be a video template. You can resize it to video, but see what you can find. If you find one that you like, when you click on it, you can preview the pages if there are, or if it's a video, I guess it'll run and kind of preview. I used to show us, apparently it doesn't. If you like it, you can choose customize this template and it will make you a copy that you can then edit and modify. So I'm going to give you just a few minutes. I'm going to put this back up so I can put our timer up, but I'm going to give us a few minutes to explore in templates. The goal would be to kind of find something you want to work in. Again, you can totally go back to Canva's homepage, click on video, and choose any one of these and just open a blank video, which is what I'm going to do if you want to just play around on a blank page today. But let's take a few minutes to kind of explore templates and then we'll dig into resizing and design tools available. Ideally, if you have a template open, that is what we want to see. Perfect. This is what we want to see. A couple things. Number one, if you opened a design that is not a video, you can resize it to a video. So we're going to start there. I opened a video. Actually, I'll grab one that's not. We will find a podcast cover. Maybe I'm doing podcasting with my students. I can open up my podcast cover. And then I want to turn this into a video. Can I record and do some things over this cover? Yes. However, turning it into a video gives me much more capability to edit and do a little bit more with this as you're creating this sort of podcast. So it doesn't always have to be video, but that same idea. So to resize this into a video, we're going to use that resize button at the top. We're going to go down to where it says video. And then we have some choices. This is where it gets a little funny. This one is square. So if I want something that's square, I just have to kind of look at the dimensions. Even though I'm not putting it on Facebook, Facebook video is 1080 by 1080, which is square. Video landscape is the exact same size as a slide. So you can just turn it into a slide. Depending on the type of template you've grabbed, you're going to kind of want to skim through and see what might be a good fit. Oh, this is square as well. 2x3 is really good for things like storybooks and some of those pieces. So you can kind of play around with a little bit of those, pick and choose. Instagram Reel is obviously going to be vertical. So you would pick and choose. I'm going to choose Facebook video. And then I can either copy and resize or just resize. I'm just going to pick resize. So it just turns this design into a video. So this looks slightly different than it normally would. So it's resized. And now it says it's a video. I can tell it's a video here. So in order to get some of those video tools, apparently I have to click some extra buttons, which I didn't used to, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click that pages button. And then there's a button down here that says duration. Duration shows those video tools. So we may not even have to resize anymore. Maybe duration, anytime you see this duration tab, it turns it into video. So maybe we don't even need to resize anymore and that duration will just show up. That is a key way to get it to video. You'll know it's a video. You have a play button here. You have more of what looks like video editing tracks down here. So a couple quick things when it comes to editing in Canva. You'll have your design in the center. You have tabs along the left. The first tab is always design, and design is just our template library. So if you wanted to add a template or combine templates, you could always grab something from design and add to it. So design is our template library. The next tab is elements. Elements is kind of where we get what we're going to add to our design. Depending on the design type, sometimes these change order. I will also tell you this is one of the areas that's also changing in the update tomorrow. So mine looks like the old version. If yours, when you click on elements, looks like some colored tabs, that's the new version. I think a lot of people's have already updated. Mine has not. It's the exact same thing, but instead of my sections going horizontal, they're in those colored tabs. So that's really the biggest difference. So it just looks different. But under elements, it's broken down into a couple different sections. So as you scroll, you'll see a section that says graphics. Graphics is where you're going to get obviously the majority of things we add to our design, all of our little icons and different things like that. In graphics, one couple quick tips as you're creating video and things that are animated. You'll notice I have some animated graphics even here in my recently used. You can also animate graphics yourself. So we're going to take a look at both. But under elements and under that graphics section, you can search for anything. So we'll roll with a Halloween theme. I can search for pumpkin, and I'm going to get all kinds of different pumpkins. Static graphics, animated graphics, you name it. When you search in graphics, next to that little search, there's a filter. Under that filter, it will allow you to pick things. If you want animated graphics, you can filter and find specifically animated graphics. Or you can animate your own again, like I said. So I'm going to take maybe this guy who's animated. I can add him to my design. I can not choose animated. I can choose colors or things like that. And add different things as well. So again, under graphics, I'll add this one too, just for fun. I can add animated graphics, static graphics. I can search for different things. I can be really descriptive. There's over 1 million graphics, so you are bound to find what you're looking for. Even something as simple as like a circle, an oval, an arrow, whatever that might look like. Again, lots of options. I can also filter and find those animated ones. So if I want to circle something that's animated or things like that, I can see what that looks like. One thing with our animated graphics is most often you don't have the ability to customize things like colors. You're not going to be able to really customize too much of it. So you got to kind of find the one you want, but you can add different animation pieces. And yes, I'm going to talk about animation too, but we're just starting with graphics, and then we'll dig into how to also add more animation. So you can find static graphics, you can find animated graphics, you can search for different things using those search terms and really drill down and have some fun with that. Sarah, is yours the new one with the colored tabs? Like, do you see? Okay, you do have it. It's like the color. You don't have these sections. You have like the colored tabs, right? I'm guessing for the people.
Yes.
Okay. I'll show you what it looks like. Let me grab a different account really fast. The filter is actually, so right here, these little color blocks, these are the filters. So see how it says animation? I'm going to give you guys, I forgot I have this. I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. So if you have the new version, you may or may not even have this. I don't know what's out there, to be really honest. But this is coming out tomorrow, and I think it's really fun. So I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. But I think as we're talking about graphics, it's kind of fun to share this because I just saw this today. But under elements, so we were in that section of graphics. There's also a section now that says 3D. So if you back out of graphics, you may see a section that says 3D. 3D is also graphics. So they're kind of all these fun looking graphics that we have. They're kind of 3D looking. But the cool part of these is if I add one, notice there's a little thing, I can rotate it in any direction. I know that's kind of silly, but it's kind of fun. So you could really like have some fun with it, and you can still animate these and do kind of whatever you would normally do with them. So these graphics are going to be a little bit more, I don't know want to say interactive, but you have some more fun. You can have some more fun with a little bit of these. So again, graphics, you can add all of those tools or kind of images. I want to talk about a few more things, and then we'll come back to animate really fast. So I'm going to back out of graphic. We have on the left, we have text where we can add text boxes. We have different text combinations, different things like that. I'm going to add a quick text box using the text. My favorite little shortcut in Canva that I always share is if you press the letter T on your keyboard, T for text, you will get a text box every time. So with that text box, I can type in Happy Halloween, whatever I want. I can change the font size. So this toolbar is always going to show us the tools that we need depending on the object we've selected. So text is always going to show font size, all of those things. We'll make that a little bit bigger. So I want to add this first because then I want to talk about animation when it comes to both text and objects. So again, text on the left, text box, or you can press T for text, and then you can use the tools to edit that text as well. So when you click on your page in Canva, you'll notice at the top that you have an animate button. This allows you to animate the page, all of the pieces on the page. So if I click on the page and choose animate, it is going to give me different combinations of animations. So it will animate the whole page at one time. So I can kind of hover over and preview, and it's going to animate the whole page at a time. If I click on any independent object, I can also choose animate, and then I can animate each object. So I can animate it with different animations that we have here. But we also have a button that says create an animation. If I click on an object, I can choose animate. I can pick any preset, or I can choose create an animation. When I create an animation, if I click and hold and drag, the object will follow the path that I drag. So I can do that with animated objects. I can also do that with non-animated objects, and I can animate it myself. So I can't make it do this, but I can animate it. So I can choose animate. Again, I can pick any one of these to kind of pre-animate, or I can choose that create an animation, click and hold and drag, and it will follow the path. Oh, they're like dancing. That's fun. I can also toggle this little switch on, and it will like follow the path, like it will orient itself to the path. So again, different ways to kind of preview that. If I don't like it, I can delete it, I can adjust it, things like that. It also works on text. Text has its own animation, so I can make it look like a typewriter and different things here. But I can also create an animation with text. So if I want it to like scroll like a reader board, or scroll up like credits, or kind of whatever I want it to do, it will do that too. So it works on text boxes, it works on objects, all of those things. So that animate button, again, you can animate the whole page at once, or you can animate individual objects. Sarah, to answer your question in the chat, all of these tools are available for broadcast. That's just another template type. So we can't broadcast live from Canva, but you can create like those news broadcasts, news morning announcement videos, those kinds of things. We've really lots of great templates for those.
Yeah, I know that's why a lot of people here today joined, because they wanted to learn some tips and tricks with broadcasts, because a lot of our librarians do broadcasts. They're responsible for them. And so if
Yeah.
you could show us some of those things, it would be super helpful.
It's all the same tools that we've been talking about. It's just a different template that you can start in a what looks more like a newsroom, or you can create that yourself. So as you add different things, we do have broadcaster newscast. This is our template library, is a great option. So you can do that from Canva's homepage or from the design tab, which is Canva's template library. I can use any one of these options to oops. Let's try newscast, there we go. It likes it as 2 words. Newscast, broadcast, it looks like it had a few more, but I could pick and choose any one of these. And again, I can also create my own. All of these tools, graphics, all of this portion is still heavily used in creating these broadcasts to animate, to add text, to add graphics, those kinds of things. But you could add a template that is a newscast or a broadcast template. So the other part that I was just getting to is under elements as well. So we've talked a little bit about graphics and text and some of those things. Under elements, if you keep scrolling, you have a couple different sections, or if you have your tabs. One of those sections is also frames. So frames, if I delete that picture, I'm left with this cartoon landscape. So a lot of our video templates, apparently not all, because this one didn't have it, but if you delete the photo or the video, you're left with kind of this cartoon landscape. So that's another way to build these as you're creating, is under elements to use frames here. So frames are this kind of cartoon landscape. We have lots of different ones. We have ones that look like cell phones and laptops and different shapes and all kinds of different things. Anytime you see that cartoon landscape, it's looking for a photo or a video to snap into that shape. So you could grab something from our photo library or our video library. You can also we have that full video library and photo library still under elements. All of it is here. That's what the background is. These tabs, when you're looking at some of these templates, these came from elements. So all of this is just built. You can grab them from templates, or you can build them yourself using elements. The live is an element. this is just a video background. So if you add a different background, any photo or video can be a background just by clicking those three dots and choosing replace or set as background. Some of these have them done for you. So if you have, a mascot, a school scene, if you want to use the front of your school, whatever that might look like, you can add a photo or a video as that backdrop just by clicking the three dots and choosing replace background, and it will set it as the background or set as background. So a lot of these templates are just those pieces layered over the top, and then you also have frames that you can drop in photos or videos. On the left, you also have uploads. Uploads on the left allows you to bring in your own images, video, or audio. So if you recorded it or took photos outside of Canva, you can bring in pictures, video, audio from here. So I can bring in my own images. Again, I don't have too many, a lot of mine are screenshots, but I could bring in, images of something and drop that in. I can also bring in videos or audio. I also have that ability to record myself in Canva. So if you are doing recording, it doesn't work really great when I'm on Zoom, but I will show you. When you choose record yourself, the best option is to choose this record a talking head. It sounds weird, but that is our recording studio. When I choose record a talking head, it won't take my camera because I'm on Zoom, but when I would choose record a talking head, it will put me right here. You can change this when you're done. So you can leave it like this and just do the recording, and then you can take it out of the circle and fill it into any one of these pieces. You can just do the recording over the page. You can also do it separately again and bring it in, but you just hop in and hit record. It counts you down and it allows you to record directly over the page. So I actually have one under my uploads that I will grab. It saves under your uploads as well. So these are ones I've done. It's not a great angle, but I did record myself. So I can bring my recording directly into Canva. Even if it's in the little bubble, it's just in a frame, so I can take it out of the frame and just add it to the page. Once you have a photo or a video in Canva, this toolbar, again, is our smart toolbar, and it will show us the tools we need. So if I want to remove the background, I can just hit Remove Background or BG Remover, and it will take the background out. I can take out this white box if I want. And then I could just have myself standing at my news desk or in my newsroom or whatever background I've given myself. You can put yourself in any time period or whatever you want behind you. You can layer that way. So again, any photo or video has BG Remover. We also have all of those video tools like snipping if you need to trim it.
You can record
or change the volume, make it louder or quieter, change playback speed, things like that. So anytime you click on an object, again, it's going to show us the tools we need. This one has background remover. I can crop a photo. I can edit that photo or edit that video, change the lighting, filters, things like that. So all of those tools are available, and then you can pop it in a frame. So I could put myself in that frame and be speaking from within the frame itself, or just directly onto the canvas and remove the background and layer that.
So if you're doing like segments for a broadcast, would you suggest then doing like a transition from one frame to the next? Like if you're moving from like weather to upcoming events in the next week or something like that, you would just make a new frame.
Yep, you would
and
just
an
add
animation
a new page
between the two.
Yep, and then you could transition. I will say I work a lot with schools that are doing this. Most often, depends on how you're doing it. But what I have seen work really well is if students, especially if there's different students doing different segments, is that they create their own video with however many pages they need, doesn't matter, but they create their own Canva video and save it into a folder. And then a student or you takes all of those pages and pastes them into one big one. Another way to do it is to download each of those individual ones once they're finished as MP4s and bring them in and just add them to one long video. That way they're a little more set in there. The problem with this, if you start to like get a lot of kids in there, is that if you add any sound to one of these, so for example, if I just added, for whatever reason, if you're adding any sound or you have different audio tracks in there, as soon as you start adding videos, sound gets a lot crossed over. And if I move something or I make something longer, the sound doesn't go with it. So the sound stays, but then the tracks move. So then it gets off. So what I have seen really great success is students creating their own segments and then either pasting everything in or exporting that as an MP4 and then combining the MP4s into one big long broadcast. So I've seen it done a lot of ways. Those just tend to be the ways that kind of help mitigate some of the issues that pop. Same thing if you're using a presentation template, you can just click that duration button in the bottom corner and it basically turns it into a video, or you can go to resize video, choose that landscape video, and it will just turn it into a video. And you can download a presentation as an MP4. So if it's easier to complete it like slides, you could do it that way too. Really makes no difference if you're exporting it as an MP4, but if you want to change it and then edit within Canva, that's the easiest way to do it. Videos, presentations, they all look really similar. The biggest difference with video is that I can change the length of the clips a little bit more easily, split clips. I can add as many clips as I want, things like that, and then adjust as I go. So I can add in videos, I can record myself directly in Canva. I can, to add a transition, you just hover in between the two pages. So it's really hard to see with my mouse, I know, but if I hover in between those two frames, there is a little triangle button. When they click on the triangle button, these are your transitions. You can also right click on a frame and choose add transition. And then I can have different transitions there, whichever one that you like. Can students work in the same broadcast at once? Not if they're only working. I mean, you can put them all into one video. Like we could all be in this same video design, but you cannot limit them to only working on certain parts of it. They have open edit to the whole thing. So as you do that, that's where like some things get shifted or something gets off and then it gets a little crazy. So I often see that individual work and then have it brought together at the end. But you could, as long as students know what they're doing and you're not adding too much audio, it's not too bad. But that's where you start to get a little jumbly. Again, the nice thing is if you add audio, you have lots of audio tools. You can bring the audio of the audio track down. You can bring the audio of your video up so that it's balanced. Like you can adjust it so that you have more control. So we have a lot of control over the way the videos are added and things like that as well. The last little piece I want to share, because sometimes this is helpful, again, totally up to you and what you're creating. I see this done differently in different places, is any object on the page can also be timed. So see how when I click on that text box, the purple box pops up down here. So like, I'm gonna go back to this one because it has more stuff on it. If I click on things, they pop up here. If I click and hold and drag and grab all of them, I have all, see how it shows me all of them? I can time these elements. So if I want this little pumpkin to come in, not right at the beginning, but I want him to come in a little bit later. Maybe I want the ghost to come in after that. Things like that. I can time these elements and adjust when they come in or when they leave. So then I can preview it by using this playhead. I can hit play. Now there's my pumpkin and my ghost and the circle. So you can control the timing of things as well. You can click on one at a time, or if you grab multiple, it will show you all of them, and then you can adjust those as needed as well. So that's always an option. So that's, again, you can split clips and add things and add multiple clips, or you can always layer things that way too. So some really great questions in the chat. I love that we're collaborating and having those conversations. A couple things, I know this may or may not be helpful, but I work with a lot of different schools that put these together. I have some schools more in the high school level, so I don't know what that looks like, but who do them daily, who do them in the morning and then push them out for advisory at the end of the day. They have their set like sections or whatever you want to call it, and they're not super long, but it's like daily announcements, sporting events, whatever, and they have their frames. They do a quick recording, they drop them in, and they publish them. So if you have that sort of setup and all of those pieces, like all of these pieces, just where you just drag and drop the video in, maybe change some text, you can do them fairly quickly once you kind of set that up. I have another school that I work with, the middle school. They do them once a week, but he's got two different groups of kids. So one kid's working on the next week, and they're always kind of a week ahead, and then there's one kid that puts them all together. So there's some different ways to do it. It really depends on how much you're doing, how much filming you're doing, how much external pieces you're bringing in, and how much creative license you're giving kids. If you're just letting them drop videos into a template, it's a little bit faster than letting them build all the templates that they want, or kind of a mixture of both. So lots of different ways to do it. Again, really depending on how much content you're trying to cover and those pieces as well. When we're talking about sharing, so let's talk about that really quick before we wrap up as well. There's a number of ways to share these out. The most common way that I see this shared, if it's going to be played like across the school as a morning announcement or during an advisory or whatever that looks like, is, well, a number of ways, but the number one way that I see it shared is under the share button and using the public view link. So share, it's if it's not in these first set of buttons, it's under see all and public view. That is a published version of your design. It will play like a video, does not require a Canva sign-in. It's also a live link. So if you were to send the public view link out and then find a mistake, if you update the slide, it will automatically update, and then they have the most recent version. So public view link is kind of a key one. Published version, video of your, or presentation, whatever it is that you're sharing. Public view is like that published version that doesn't require a sign-in, that allows you to share that and then anyone can watch it. You can also download it as an MP4 and then put that into something else like a YouTube or wherever else you're sharing information, whatever that looks like for your district. And then, yep, you can also set them on YouTube as unlisted. So you would download that as an MP4 and then you would put that, upload that into YouTube. The nice thing with the public view link is that, again, it's a live link, so you can always add or adjust it as needed as well. And you can always break the link. If you need to pull it back so people can't see it, you can always unshare that too. But those are the two main ways that you can share, that I would ideally you could share, is that public view or that download. And then upload's amazing. And Canva has an, for those who aren't familiar, Canva has an app for phones, iPads. It is very much like the desktop app. There's actually even a few more features. So if you are having students record things, it's very easy to upload those directly into Canva from something mobile, if that's a different way or an easier way to do those things as well. Though those are options also. So whatever that looks like for your district.
You know, we had some people that were interested in book trailers, but I think the way you set it up with the videos, like any of those animations and the text and things could be used for kids to explain or advertise, you know.
Yep, a lot of times they'll take a storybook template or some of our other templates, and then you just animate those characters. You use that upload and voiceover to record that trailer part. So there's a lot of those pieces in there too. The other thing I will say is if you are on Facebook, for those who are on Facebook, we do have a teacher community on Facebook. It's called Canva Teacher Community. If you just Google it on Facebook or look it up on Facebook, Canva Teachers Community, there is a librarian in there who is phenomenal. Her name's Christina. She shares a ton of stuff. And then also if you just ask a question like, hey, who's using this for broadcast? Can you share examples? They will share a lot of things with you. They are really great resources. There's thousands and thousands of teachers and educators and librarians in there. So I would highly recommend checking that out. If you are on Facebook, that is where you can get a lot of really great examples as well. There's one that's like officially from Canva, and it's the Canva Teachers Community. That one has, I know, a lot in it too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Janice. And thank you to all of our amazing librarians for joining us this evening. Even